It's part of the culture. You know, do it for the culture, man.
Yeah. Crazy to think, a monthly survey of renters, most of whom likely haven't signed a new or renewed lease in 6+ months, are the one thing keeping inflation outside of the Fed's target range and therefore indirectly keeping rates elevated.
So explain that to people.
So, as a reminder, again, shelter inflation encompasses both rent and rent equivalent. So if renters are now saying, you know what, I'm going to pay this increased rent because it's still cheaper than buying a house, rent is rising. Yet they're renting because inflation has eaten so much into their income, because housing inflation has gotten so ridiculous that now there's more people in the renting space competitive to rent, and there's not a lot of traction in the housing buy-sell space because there's not a lot of just transactions happening.
Mm-hmm.
Now rents are going up because there's room between the cost to buy a home and the cost to rent. And as long as there's room between the two of them, rent will continue to rise until it just gets more affordable to buy than it does to rent for most Americans. And Haroon pulled up the chart here. You wind up in a situation where as this number increases, you're propping up inflation because, again, that's 40% of core inflation. That's a third of CPI, Consumer Price Index, in and of itself, not core inflation, just CPI. You are propping it up because that is the biggest contributor to inflation.
And to add on to that as well, if they're not signing or renewing their leases, what people got to remember is this data point doesn't all get reported at once.
So I think this chart's really important, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're driving and you can't see it, I'll try to do my best to describe it to you. If you're working out, then you know what? Stop working out. Look at the charts.
Look, just take a breather.
Yeah. If you remove shelter from CPI, you hit the target's 2% range, the Fed's target range. If you just say, you know what, let's remove shelter, the 40% in core, 30% in regular inflation, you just remove that and say, let's just look at inflation outside of the shelter component, you are at the Fed's inflation target. The blue line on this chart shows that you're well there. The Fed can sit back and go, we made it, congratulations, we're amazing.
Can't do that, though.
So all this comes down to one resounding thought.
What?
Dave Ramsey's fucking it up for everybody, man.
What is he doing?
Yeah, if you want to keep housing prices up, blame your realtor.
Yeah, everyone should be blaming Dave.
Yeah, blame Dave. No, you know what? Not all realtors. There's some good ones out there, but I like to generalize. And because Dave Ramsey,
I like to generalize.
Yeah, you know,
I like sweeping generalizations.
I like to be rude to as many possible people at the same time as I can. But that being said, look, it's a compelling pivot. If you remove shelter from this equation, the Fed has been successful. So therein lies the question, do you need a housing bubble to burst in order to hit the Fed's target? Does that need to happen? And the answer might be yeah.
But how are we going to get there? How do we get a housing bubble to burst? Okay, there needs to be an influx of inventory, right?
Yes.
Okay, how is it going to get there? The last time it happened, right, we talked about it at the top of the show, was a rise in foreclosures, 2.9 million. How are we going to get there if people have mortgage rates of, 6% or less, right? Well, some of us here got less than 3%.
2.71, baby.
Woo! I'm going to brag about that shit.
Yeah.
I'm at 2.99. I think so.
It's cute.
Hey, I'm there. I got a two-handle,
Yeah,
right? But if people have that, and now rates currently are what, upwards of 7% again.
Yeah.
Why would I sell my home?
And I am in the camp that rates are going to continue to climb. They're going to stay flat for a little bit, but I think you're going to see them continue to climb.
Exactly.
Even with a rate cut, the yield conversion's got to come out of the inversion. It's going to continue to climb. Here's what's going to happen, okay? You're going to wind up in a set of circumstances where it's just super unaffordable to buy a home.
Mm-hmm.
And as Haroon has conveniently pivoted here too, Redfin data, median home sales price hits an all-time high of $434,000 in the United States. It went up, hit 33,000. Then it dropped down. I'm like, okay, good trajectory. And then boing, right back up. Then it started to dip again. I'm like, okay. It's dipping again. Maybe it's that up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down. Up, down, left, right, AB, start, select.
ABA.
ABA, I don't remember. Yeah.
Close. That was good.
It was close.
You were good.
But yeah, I thought, okay, maybe there's a chance where this will go down.
Yeah.
And then whammy, 434,000. just over our last historic milestone of 433,000 on average. That is the all-time high.
So that's
and
up
with mortgage rates 7%.
Yes.
That is all-time unaffordability for homes.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So that's up 6.2% year over year for people that are trying to track those year over year figures, right? And that's up $13,000 month over month. I got an issue with this. So I'm hearing you're seeing under the comment section. I love going to the comment sections. It's like one of my favorite things to do. Just reading the discourse.
You want all the smoke?
No, I don't like engaging. I'm not that guy.
So you're just like watching the bum fights.
I like watching what's going on, and then you get all these boomers, right, on there.
What is your demographic?
I'm a millennial, bro.
So you get don't act like you're the young guy.
Hold on, hey, I'm a millennial. What are you talking? You're a boomer.
I'm not. Don't do that.
You are a boomer,
don't do
though.
That. Don't do that.
Right? And they're saying, back in my day, mortgage rates were 15, 16%.
I don't say that.
Okay, and you're like, okay, guy, I understand it was, so it was really expensive, okay? But still, the home price to income ratio
was like $12.
It was 4.5 times.
Yeah.
Okay, so the median sale price of a home back then, I think, was $77,000, and the median income from a home was like $23,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I get it. Things were a lot cheaper back then, but people weren't also making as much money. Now, currently, right now, I think it's close to 6 times. Okay? So it's way more unaffordable now. So if price, it's just not the same. It's not apples to apples.